Hi, this is Jeremy Kellett, Director of Recruiting here at Oakley Trucking, and I'm your host for this podcast. This is episode 117. So on today's episode, we sit down with two of Oakley's finest owner-operators, Lonnie and Paul Lorimer, and we're going to talk to those guys about their success story, about their experience at Oakley Trucking, how they came here, why they're still here, some good details, even talk a little bit about their money that they're managing, and some of the do's and don'ts as an owner-operator. So some good information, good stuff from them. So we're going to visit with them in just a minute. But first, let's get an Oakley update sponsored by Arrow Truck Sales. Let's listen to one of Oakley's owner-operator experience with Arrow Truck Sales.
Called Kenworth off of 440, called Peterbilt, called Freightliner. None of them wanted to work with me. So Jeremy Kellett got me over to Trey Visor. Me and him had a conversation. He sent me to Keith Wilson and never looked back from that point. I was upside down $29,000 and change. They paid off all but $5,000 of my loan on a blown truck. That right there said a lot to me. You know, they were willing to step outside of their comfort zone to get my deal done. I never felt like a customer. It was more like a family feeling. He took care of every aspect of the deal. He was completely transparent. There was no hidden nothing.
So if you're in the market for a used truck, you owe it to yourself to call Keith Wilson at Arrow Truck Sales in Springfield, Missouri. Tell him you heard it on the Oakley Podcast. So on the update today, Oakley Update, we're going to talk to you about recruiting cards. And a lot of people still not sure how this works, and I want to try to clear it up and explain the best I can on turning in recruiting cards. So basically, Oakley, we pay you $200 for turning in a recruiting card, just to give us a good contact, a name, phone number, or an email address where we can get in touch with the guy, and they are a legitimate truck driver, then we send you $200 on next week's check. Now, if we end up leasing the person on, then you get a $5,000 recruiting bonus, and $2,500 paid after the first 45 days they're here, and $2,500 paid after the second 45 days they're here. If you owe Oakley, escrow, wet kit, blower, then that money for that bonus goes towards that first. Then any left over, we cut you a check, or we actually put it on your settlement. So the thing with the recruiting cards and the $200 just for the name and number, that's huge for us. We just need somebody that we've never talked to before. So if they've worked for us before, if you send it in and that person's in the computer system and we've had a conversation with them already, then you won't get the $200. But chances are that are pretty slim anyway. So keep sending in names and numbers. You know, if somebody comes up and talk to you, try your best to get their name and phone number. I know that's not easy to do, but keep in mind that's worth $200 if you can get it to us. So, and more than likely, you got to turn in a bunch of them to get somebody leased on. And it just helps if you stay in touch with them also. Because as we know, we get our best people from our owner-operators. You guys are our best recruiters, especially the ones that are active in doing it, and we appreciate you doing it. Just keep them coming. And if you got any questions about recruiting cards, recruiting bonuses, give me a call up at the office, and we'll explain it. You know, you've been hearing me talk about Lube Zone for a couple of years now. Well, now it's time you hear from one of our owner-operators. Listen to Mike Durbin talk about his experience with Lube Zone.
The price is great. The service is great. From the time when I pulled in the door to the time I pulled out was less than an hour. Best I've ever had as far as an owner-operator, had my oil change. Checked the oil. They showed me the oil. They did all the portion on the wrenches. Showed me my rear end oil on the paper. Had they did the job. It was very nice to go somewhere, get what you wanted done, and go. I was very pleased with it. Like I said, very satisfied. I will go out of my way from now on to go there.
Check out lubezone.com for all their services and all their locations, and tell them you heard it on the Oakley Podcast. So I got Lonnie O'Dime. Is that how you say your last name?
Mm-hmm.
I got Lonnie O'Dime and Paul Lorimer here with me today. They're Oakley owner-operators, and we're just going to visit with them a little bit on things that's happening at Oakley, some of their success stories that they've gone through here at Oakley, and give you guys just some good details of what's going on. We've got some good information coming from them, so stay with us as we get going on that. First, I'd like to you guys introduce yourself. Lonnie, introduce yourself to everybody. Where you from? Where you live?
Farmersville, Ohio. It's just outside of Dayton, Ohio. Grew up on a farm. Still have the farm. My sons do all the farm work now, along with my brothers. I try to do a little bit when I get back, but they got all this new technology now. They got to show me what button to push. I don't even know how to get the combine to go down through the field like they do. But
Got a family?
got a wife, 43 years.
Wow.
4 kids, 3 boys, and my daughter, her youngest, just got married.
Grandkids?
Got 5 grandkids.
Nice.
3 boys and a girl. Or, I'm sorry, 3 boys and 2 girls.
What kind of truck you own?
I got a Kenworth T660.
Nice.
I had it. Actually went and watched them build it up in Chillicothe, Ohio. I was able to see them build it. So got 1.4 million on. It's time to move on.
Time to
I think.
upgrade. And how long you been at Oakley?
It'll be 11 years in August, I believe.
Nice.
Yeah. Started out, it was pulling a reefer. Kind of did the farming and the trucking and whatever I was doing. If I was farming, I figured out I'd be driving a truck, making some money. If I was in the truck, I was thinking everything on the farm I should be doing. So I kind of give it up. And my brother's farm as well. And they pretty well took up my end, and my sons do as well. And
You the only one in the family in trucking?
Yep. Yeah. My dad had trucks. That's really how I got into it. He had drivers. He didn't drive. He drove some, but I would fill in for them. And I thought, man, this isn't a bad way to make a living. I don't have to worry about what the grain prices are and if it's going to rain or not rain. So
Right.
What
do you do in your off time when you're home?
I follow the grandkids around, whatever they're in. They're at a hog show this weekend up in Springfield, Pennsylvania. They get into this show hogs, I guess they call it.
No kidding.
Yeah, they're pretty active. My oldest son, they're up there and they're pretty active in that. It's on a national level. So
That's nice. Give some grandkids to do.
yeah, and then they do sports, baseball and soccer. And just enjoy them when they're around and take care of the yard when I'm home. And got a pretty big yard to mow and a farm to take care of. So it's always something to do.
What about you, Paul? Where are you from?
Oh gosh, Sharon, let me tell you, I ain't got as much as Lonnie got going on. Jeez. Now I'm originally from the West Coast. I was in California, then moved to Washington, then moved out here to Arkansas. So, been around a few places. I've been driving since '97. Mainly pulled step decks, RGNs. Had a friend of mine tell me about here. Sold my truck. I thought I was done trucking at one point. You'll never be done trucking. Once you're in it, you're in it. End up buying another truck. Kind of looked for a cheap option because I wasn't sure about Oakley. I just told me, oh, it's good. I said, well, all right, let me give it a shot. So I went different route on a truck, and I wish I'd have been here in '97.
How long you been here?
I've only been here for about a year, and I think we're close to about a year and a half or so. And best move I've ever made.
You got a family?
Yeah, I got a wife and 3 kids. It goes boy, girl, boy. So my daughter, she was always in school with one of them. We moved out here. Her grandma got sick, and so we moved out here, took care of her for a while, and inherited her house. So we decided to stay, and we love it, And then when we're, when on our off time, we do as much camping. We got side by side. We go out and do that, and I try to get my mowing in too, but I go side by side before I go mow.
You got your priorities straight.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, that's good.
We we go to a place up in Missouri a lot called Cloud9, Caulfield, Missouri, and it's a kind of like a side by side resort.
Nice.
So we do that a lot. The truck I got, I just switched trucks today.
That's what I was going to say. I actually timed that just right because both you guys are trading trucks.
Yeah.
Right now. So what kind of truck you got and what are you getting?
So I just traded in yesterday. We're doing all the stickers and everything today, but I went from a 16 to an 18. Both of them are Freightliner Evos, the mid roofs. Same motor, same transmissions. They got the DD13s, 10-speed. I'm actually impressed with. I didn't think it was going to be good. You know, like I said, I went a cheap route. Prior to, I've always driven a hood, Peterbilt hoods, and so I know maybe after a little while I'm probably going to go back to a hood. But this, it's been awesome here.
Good.
You know, trading my truck and going back to another one and knowing that I'm always going to be successful here. You know, it's allowed me to grow everything at home.
Makes it easy to upgrade.
Oh God, yeah, it's easy. Like I say, I'm so thankful that I'm here at Oakley.
Now you pull a hopper bottom.
I pull a hopper. Yeah,
And that's what you've done since you started, right?
Yep. And you know, I tell people I'm pretty lazy. I mean, I don't leave the house before 7:30 on Monday, and I get home on Friday.
Yeah.
You know, and I still make my truck payments. I've bought things, can pay my pickup, side by side, house payments, all that, and still go have steak dinner with my wife.
That's got to feel good, doesn't it?
Feels great.
Lonnie, what kind of truck you trading into?
I'm actually getting Gene Howard's truck. He passed away a few months ago, and been working with his family and haven't quite got the deal done. We're getting ready to go test drive this afternoon, but they got it all, everything fixed up on the damage, and it's a W990 Kenworth. So I had a W900 before I got this T660, but when fuel went to $5, I thought, man, I need to get something a little bit more aerodynamic, and now I'm going back the other way. So I don't know if I'm
Well, that's the
doing
new
this-
style.
Yeah, hopefully it gets a little bit better fuel mileage. I
New
don't know.
hood.
I think I can afford this. Like he was saying, it's easier to pay bills now.
Yeah.
I actually working with my banker at home, my loan officer, and he said, "Well, your credit score looks really good." And I said, "Well, it's easy when you can pay the bills."
Makes a difference.
yeah.
Now you're doing pneumatic tanks.
Yeah, pneumatics. I've been ever since I started here. I started in sand up in Pennsylvania, which I, seeing what brought me to Oakley. I see these Oakley trucks go down the road when I was pulling a reefer before I came to their here, and I see Oakley trucks go by. I was like, man, that's a nice looking truck. They must be making good money to be able to afford those trucks. So I got in touch with recruiting. I think Randolph was probably the first one I spoke with, and he gave me some people to talk to, and talked to one of them still here, Big Jim. I talked to him, and
Well, that frac sand back then, I mean, that was
it was
a
crazy.
different beast.
yeah,
And that's when you came in,
yeah, it
and
was
that was hot and heavy.
different life that live up on top of a mountain. I remember you came up there one time, and
Yeah.
we were kind of moaning about the rates or something, and I said, man, you see the outhouses here, and we got to take go 60 miles to get a shower, and I said, you need to make more money. And you said, well, it's not for everybody. I said, well, that's true, but it was worthwhile. But then when it slowed up, I decided that I went on the road and taught me, forget who it was now, I had dispatch, taught me going back on the sand for a little while. I did that for about 2 months, and that's enough. I'm going to go back on the road. I like to be able to know when I'm going to sleep, know when I'm going to work, instead of somebody wake me up in the middle of the night, tell me it's time to go to work. So,
So a lot of people are not familiar with pneumatic tanks, and it takes there's a lot of responsibility goes into that when you're pulling a pneumatic, isn't there, Lonnie?
yeah, you got to watch your gauges. They all got different rules about pressures and different products. There's different ways to unload it, and trying to keep it from plugging anything up. So it's not terrible as far as that goes. It's just a little bit extra.
You learned
Steps.
the hard way, or
Actually, Big Jim told me one time, when you plug one up, it's a little bit of a challenge, I guess, to get it to unplug. how you do it with air and pressure and stuff. And I was asking Big Jim about it one time. I said, how do you do it or something? He went over and shut the air off to the bottom line. He said, "You're plugged up now. Figure it out."
Oh, no.
But yeah, it was trial by fire, I guess. But no, you had guys work with us down here. I ran down here for a week or so and worked with some guys that helped me get started, knowing the ins and outs.
What kind of different products you hauling on there? What's some of the easy stuff and hard stuff?
Salt's the easiest stuff. I like that. I living up by Dayton or close to Cincinnati, 50 miles north of Cincinnati. A lot of salt comes off the river there, and brine salt going into these brine tanks. It only takes you about 35 minutes to blow it off, and it blows off pretty easy. Then you get into some feed salts, and some of them are going up a silo 150 feet up in the air or something, and that takes a little longer. But salt, coke, petroleum coke, a lot of catalyst going into refineries and stuff. Gosh, it's surprising. I actually hauled, when I was doing sand, that's all I had ever done. Sand was real easy too. It blew off real easy. They had me pick up a load up here in Pennsylvania going over to Indiana, some steel factory, and some kind of coal. Was it nugget coal or something? I think what they called it. But I was like, you sure? It was these big nuggets like this, like an inch and a half in diameter. It's like, you sure I can get that out? Yeah. But it went out, except for the rocks they had in it. That had me a little bit of a challenge. I had to get somebody in there to climb in there one time. I had a rock about 6 inches diameter that got in there somehow, and it wouldn't go out. They had to come from climb down from the top and go get it.
Oh, man. Well, I know pneumatics are a different beast, but it's one of those niches, I think, out there in the dry bulk industry that a lot of people don't realize it. It can be really good, to get into it. But you got to like doing it because you get different product and stuff. I mean, it's definitely.
I got my favorites where I like to do and the ones I don't like to do, but kind of take the bad with the good.
Yeah. And you travel all over the country, I guess.
Pretty much, yeah. I've been up Canada quite a few times, and I haven't been out California. I've been out to Washington a couple times, I guess. I don't really miss California, so that's not a big deal.
Yeah. What about you, Paul?
Well, I pull the hoppers, and we do a lot of the roofing granules. And I like the roofing granules. They come out pretty easy. It's pretty cake doing roofing granules. The worst part about that is sitting and waiting to load.
Yeah.
and sometimes sitting and waiting to unload. But again, Oakley's made that very easy. Detention time. A lot of places I've been my entire career. Oh yeah, we'll get you detention time. You'd be lucky if you can buy a candy bar with that detention time they pay you with. Here, you can buy a pickup with that money they pay you with. So I mean, Oakley definitely stands behind their
and that's something that I didn't think about, but you guys might put in your 2 cents because you probably were paid different before you came here. Was this one of the first pay per mile jobs that you had? Because I get a lot of guys that go from percentage. They don't want to get off a percentage. Going to mileage to them is difficult mindset to do. They can't get that out of their head. That deadhead is not good, but deadhead here is
great.
He's good.
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah, that's what I say. He talks about the merge and stuff. It's like, I don't mind sitting there. I'm getting paid. So
yeah, absolutely.
But the mileage thing was I was on percentage with pulling a reefer, but no $0 on deadhead. So you kind of had to watch how far you had to go to get the next load. So here it don't really matter. I get paid either way. So and the merge makes a big deal.
Absolutely.
A lot of places you go, some more than others, but it sure helps.
Yeah, I've done both. I've done percentage, mileage, and I tell you that Oakley's the most transparent. A lot of companies. I don't try to knock nobody, but it seems like they're pretty shady on things. They hide it here, hide it there, take some here, take some there. And it's a rough ride sometimes. Mm-hmm. And I can pull up my pay sheet and I can see everything plain as day. So I love that. And I've driven with mileage companies, and they'll cut you some miles here and cut you some there, and and you're like, hey, this ain't adding up, and here if you ever have a discrepancy, call your dispatch and he'll work with you. And, and if you think you should get a little more or a little less or whatever, well, nobody ever says a little less, but, they made adjustments according to if the route was a bad route and you had to go around something, or something, they'll kind of help you there. And so it's been good. It's been real good. I like it.
You guys, you've been here a year. You've been here 11 years. Y'all made some good friends here.
I've got a list on my phone. I just put everybody as Oakley first, and there must be 100 numbers I have, but mainly from sand. I don't really. Yeah, I'd have to go back and look and see how many it is. A lot of them aren't here anymore, but a lot of them still are. But I could call them.
Why is that, reckon, Lonnie?
What's that?
Why you make so many friends here?
Oh, when we was up in sand, you lived with each other for weeks at a time. We'd hang out at night together, and it was a family, really. We cooked out. My gosh, I had Easter dinners up there. Somebody, I can't remember who it was, came back one time. They had about 10 TV dinners that they brought all the turkey dinners from Walmart for Thanksgiving and handed them out to everybody. And we had cookouts. I got a generator in my truck and had a hot plate and everything. We cooked breakfasts and Big Jim can tell you some stories about that. But it just, you're there together all the time. So now I don't really see that many people. Occasionally I do, and probably don't talk to them. Actually, I don't talk to them that often. I just kind of do my own thing. When you were in sand up there, you're always worried about what the other guy was doing. How is he going before me? I got here before he did. I thought that load, but up here it's like you don't have to worry about what everybody else is doing. It's
You made any friends, Paul?
I got a handful. Running I say I'm pretty lazy, but once I leave the house, it's just clockwork. We're always, if we're sitting and waiting, you're taking a nap. Then we hurry up and run over. Then you're gonna sit and wait and unload sometimes, and then depends on where you go. You're taking a nap, or sleeping, or so. I got a handful that I talk with, but I pretty much, like Lonnie, I just do my thing. I get in, get out, get over to the next one, and move on. I probably 2 or 3, and that's about it. But I know a lot. I've met a lot. Hey, how you doing? Yada yada. Do a little yakking, but on a daily basis, just very few. We try to catch naps when you can because we stay pretty busy.
We've gone through changes, and you're always going through changes, but definitely I know Lonnie's seen a bunch of changes. This company will go from the Qualcomm to the the logs on the app now on your phone or on your tablet, and the cameras in the dash. And how's that transition been for you guys?
I didn't want e-logs, back when they were starting to put them in, but I get more sleep with them now. I get more personal time being on the road with electronic logs than I did before, so I do like them. The cameras, they don't bother me. They're all forward facing. I still drive the same way. I do what I do, and if you're a knucklehead driver, then that stuff's gonna bother you. But if you drive like you're civilized, it's not gonna bother you. It's just another thing in the truck. If it was facing inside, I would have a big issue with that.
Sure.
But the outward facing, I don't. It saves me.
Oh, that's what I figure.
Yeah.
It's something happens. I got that.
It'll save me. Yeah. And I run my own camera also. So there's 2 of them that face outward,
Oh, there you go.
And I've been running one for several years. So e-logs, I like them. Matter of fact, when I went and swapped my truck, I had to go to a paper, so I had to really think about what I was doing again, because it'd been quite a few years, and I really had to think about, oh shoot, I got to do all this and keep track of time. But it's nice, you just click and say what you're doing. That's it, So I do like the e-logs.
Yeah, that's why I feel like I get a lot more sleep, especially when driving over the road other than sand. But you still were limited to hours. But when I was pulling a reefer, it was whatever you get away with. You start the log when you started, and then throw it out the next day and start over again.
Yeah.
And
I asked a guest I had on here, he was one of our owner operators too, and I was asking him how he managed his money, because he said, "Oh, that could be a whole nother episode." And I said, "Yeah, but a lot of owner operators just getting started. We do a lot of first time owner operators getting their truck and figuring out how the best way is to manage money. And you guys have been doing it a long time. I know you've had yours before, Paul, and of course Lonnie has too. So what would you tell somebody starting out?
Put money back in savings.
Is that it? I mean, they got to keep it separate, don't they, Lonnie?
Well, I have the savings through Oakley, and I just have money taken out each week. And I remember going through orientation, and like Randolph or somebody put it up on board, somebody's settlement, and so much going to savings. Like, what? He can afford to put money in savings, and that's for taxes and insurance or repairs. It's just I pulled out for repairs, and that's one of the reasons I'm newer truck. I think I can save on repairs and taxes, hopefully. But I figured with the money I've been putting back in savings, it'll help. Just by not having those repairs, I'll be able to afford the truck payment a lot easier.
What about your weekly? So we direct deposit your weekly settlement.
Yeah.
Can you break it up?
No, it just goes into my checking account at home, and my wife divvies it out.
Okay, so she probably plans and.
Oh yeah, we got a budget, I guess. That we know what payments, house payment and stuff. And
you pay yourself or?
No, I never have done
never
that.
have.
I did it for a while. There was some kind of government thing where we could. I can't remember what that program was, but I actually had to show getting paid every week to be able to qualify for it. And I did that when I had to, and then ever since I haven't. But no, it's just money's there when I need it, and she uses it when she has to pay the bills and stuff. And with the farm and stuff, it's quite a bit of a payment on the farm payment too. So the income coming off that side as well. But
what about you, Paul? You got a system?
So we don't save one through Oakley. Ours is as soon as it goes in, my wife divvies up. She pulls out so much to the house. We live off of that, leave the rest in there. The lease program I do on my truck has a maintenance account on that. So when I make my truck payments, it also goes into a maintenance account. So that's where my maintenance goes. You were asking about, what would you tell a first-time owner operator? First thing is you're not the boss. You don't just go to work when you feel like it. You go to work. It's just like any other job. I think one of the first things that a lot of people, when they lease a truck or go into that, they think that, well, on a truck, I can go home. I can stay home. I could be home for a week, 2 weeks. I make money now. You got to go to work. That's the biggest mistake guys make, I think.
I feel like the opposite. I can take off when I want to take off.
Right. But they think they can go home for
in the beginning.
In the beginning,
now you think that. Yeah.
But when you first buy your truck, you got to be making payments. You got to get your money stacked.
I got Hunter as a dispatcher now, and he knows I like to be home a lot, especially in the summer, trying to keep up with the grass and everything. And I still got to pay my bills, but
y'all got a set amount aside for emergencies or truck problems or tires or any of that. I know you got the maintenance account, so that pretty much takes care of that. You always make sure that's at a certain level.
Yeah. And then when our taxes, my wife, she always pulls that out too.
Yeah.
First thing we do is she figures our taxes, all that, our tithing, then our house income.
Yeah. A lot of guys forget about taxes until it's
done. Yeah. But we definitely put ours back. 33%, pretty average number, and every time we do our quarterlies, they're perfect. So
you got to be a smart businessman when you get in become an owner operator, don't you? I mean, it's a challenge to a lot of people because it's a little overwhelming when you go buy a truck and now you got a truck payment coming and you've got taxes you got to account for and a lot of responsibility coming to it. That's a lot of people were worried about that, and I understand that. It's a big step, going from a company job to becoming an owner operator. I mean, it's a big step, but is it worth it?
Sometimes they don't know how to handle the money
because
it's definitely a lot more money, but the expenses are a lot more too.
Yeah.
It's absolutely worth it, especially if you come here.
Yeah.
You know, I struggled most of my career, you know, because
Oh, that's what. Before I came here, coming up with the truck payment every week. It's like, oh God, how am I going to do that? And you didn't always have it. Sometimes you had to wait a little bit. But coming here, I think I've always told people, I think my wife would divorce me if I quit here. So.
I would have never thought it was this easy. Would you have thought that, Lonnie?
I wouldn't call it easy, but it's, you know, the money part.
The money part, yeah.
When you got, like I said before, when you got money to pay your bills, it makes things a lot easier.
Yeah, I would have never thought that it could be this easy on the money side.
And it was hard to make that step. I was, you know, leased to a company close to home, and, you know, coming to a company now 600 miles, whatever it is away, and not knowing much about the industry at all. I wasn't sure about it. My son kind of was like, yeah, you need to do it, Dad. So I'm going to be going a lot more. Yeah, it's all right.
that was me too. I had a hard time making a decision coming here because I pulled step decks RGNs. I didn't know anything about pulling anything over here, and I was pretty nervous because I'm going to a new company I don't know anything about, and I just thank God they put me in the right place. It's definitely where I want to be.
That's good to hear too, and that's that because that goes a long ways. I think when you make that change.
And it was easy, like, you know, to talk about the pneumatics and stuff. You put me with guys that had been here a while, and everybody is very, very helpful to get questions or anything. And even now, you know, I see some of the guys that trained me. They're still here. I don't know if Joe Dobbs is. I don't know if he's in or out, but what's his name? David.
Brothers.
Yeah. He was one of them that helped train me and stuff.
Wow. And he's doing good.
Yeah, they're good guys, and everybody I've met here has been real good. So, haven't been too many knuckleheads.
We've got some good owner operators here. We really do. I mean, I brag on it all the time. But you know, more than that, I like for our listeners to hear from our owner operators because you guys, I mean, I literally hit you up this morning to come in here and do this. So there's no script to it. It's just, you know, off the cuff answering questions. And I think that goes a long way with people that not just owner operators wanting to come here, but owner operators that are here already.
Right.
And can hear your story. You know, but we as any trucking company, we got problems. I mean, we are not the perfect company, and you know, we got some crazy stuff, crazy rules, do things different here. And that's just part of it, you know.
Yeah.
But in the end result, our goal is for y'all to be successful, and we got to try to give you the tools to be successful. And you know, we can only do so much, like managing your money, like you said.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't. I think that's great that y'all, you know, you said you struggled before you got here your whole career. You almost trying to make that, how am I going to make that truck payment? Well, now you're here, and you just got to feel good that you can, hey, I need a tire, I can get a tire. Yeah. I need to fix air conditioner, I can fix air conditioner, you know, and it's, you don't have to.
I look back on my repair bills and it's like, my God, how did I pay that?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's always there to take care of what you need to take care of.
So what's the future look like for you guys? What's y'all's plan in the next 10 years?
Well, hopefully 10 years I'll be done, but at least 5 to 7 years.
How old are you now, Lonnie?
64.
Okay.
Is that right? I don't know. I stopped keeping count when I got 21. It's from there on, there wasn't nothing that mattered.
It doesn't matter. After that, it doesn't matter, does it?
Yeah, but going in this new truck, I at least got to get it paid off before I could quit. But yeah, I figure someday I'll have to slow down. So I don't know if I'll quit work, but go back to farming maybe.
Yeah.
I try to do that a little bit now. It's nice to not have to worry about the money on the farming when you're out here, though. So I got out of that. So.
What about you, Paul?
10 year, I plan on being debt free, like house, vehicles, everything except for truck. I'll always have a truck payment, you know, get it paid off. But my ultimate goal is to go back to a hood like I used to. So I know I'll be probably by then $300,000 in debt on that stupid thing. But you know, and it helps with truck payments. You got a write off that way, so it's, you know, definitely a good thing. But 10 years, I plan on being debt free. You know, having everything paid for, toys, everything. We're getting ready to buy some more property connected to our property, so that's going in effect. So
Awesome.
But 10 years, I think, will be pretty dang close to debt free. The worst will probably be house and truck, big rig, but everything else will be.
Well, you can get there.
Oh yeah. I'm thinking in 5 years we'll be halfway there.
There you go.
So
good plan. Well, I appreciate you guys taking time out to join us here and doing the Oakley Podcast. I know y'all listen to it, and now you got some good information. Now you can listen to yourself.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to do that or not.
Listen to everybody give you a hard time. That knows you. I'm sure they'll be calling you up. But it means a lot to us to be able to do this. And, we try to get good information out to everybody that listens to the podcast. So I appreciate you guys hanging in there and joining me today.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Appreciate you.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for listening to the Oakley Podcast. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment on us, and spread the word about Oakley Trucking. And if you got any questions, give us a call up here at the office. We'll be glad to talk to you. Talk to you next week.